let's look at fractions. So equivalent fractions. If this cake was cut along the dotted line and you got one piece of it, what fraction of the cake would you be eating? So because the cake is cut into 2 equal portions and we would eat one of them, it would be 1/2. Same cake is now cut into an extra way across, so now it's cut into 4 equal portions, and they're saying that you're going to eat 2 of them, so that would be 2/4. Now, as we can see, if we're eating 1/2 or 2/4, that's actually the same portion of the cake, which means that 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. So let's look at it in diagram form. So you can see this rectangular box is the same size for both of these 2 shapes. And we can see that 1 of the 2 is shaded and 2 of the quarters is shaded, so they are equal. So it says here, circle a fraction that is equivalent to 1/2 and 2/4. So let's have a look. For this one we have 2/3 and this one we have 3/6. So this is the shape that is equivalent. We can see that's 3/6. So what fraction of rectangle A is shaded? That would be 2 out of the 3 portions. And here we've got 6 out of a possible 9. Yes, these would be equivalent because the same amount of the shape has been shaded. And a similar question here. So what fraction of rectangle A is shaded? So that would be 2 out of 6. And here we have 2 out of 10. Are these equivalent? No, because more of rectangle A has been shaded, so yeah, they are not equivalent. To find an equivalent fraction, you multiply the numerator. So remember, the numerator is the top number and the denominator is the bottom number, and we multiply it by the same multiplier, and that multiplier can be anything. So say, for example, I chose the number 5. So if I were to multiply both top and bottom by 5, I would have 15 over 25. Equally, I could have multiplied by 10. Nice easy number. 30 over 50. You can choose any value here that you like, as long as you multiply both top and bottom by the same amount. So we've been asked to now use 3 as our multiplier and find equivalent fractions here. You may like to pause the video and see if you can do this without looking at the answers, but I will now fill them in for you. So in these cases, we're asked to specifically find an equivalent fraction that has a numerator of 3. When we're finding equivalent fractions, we are only ever going to be multiplying or dividing. So that's important. So we're only going to be multiplying or dividing when we go from number to number. So if we're looking here, if we started at a 6 and then we want to end up as a 3, we are going to divide that by 2. Now that means we're going to do the same thing to the bottom number, which gives us 5. How would you make 2/3 equivalent to with a denominator of 12? So again, we're saying, how do we go from being a 3 to being at 12. This time we're getting bigger, so we know we're going to be multiplying, and in this case we're multiplying by 4, which means we're going to do the same thing to the top number, which means it's 8 over 12. And our final example on this page, we've actually written the other way around, so we're starting at a 4 and we end up at a 16, so we're getting bigger, so we're timesing by 4. So we will multiply our 3 by 4, which gives 12 over 16. So tick which answer is correct. So 8 over 14. Sometimes it helps just to find the fraction in its simplest form, so in its lowest possible format. So we're going to see if we can do that. So I know that 2 goes into both 8 and 14, so that becomes 4 and 7. And funny enough, there is our answer, 4 and 7. Okay, 1/4. That's obviously as low as it can possibly go because we already have 1 in our fraction. So we're going to need to be getting bigger. So if it were to be this fraction here, it would mean that I would be multiplying my denominator by 4, which 1 times 4 is not 5, so I know it's not this one. If I'm going from a 4 to an 8, I would be multiplying by 2. Obviously multiplying by 2, 1 times 2 is not 3, so it's not this one, so it must be this one. Let's just double check. To go from a 4 to a 28, I would be multiplying by 7, so yeah, that works. And 18 over 24, again, it may, as I said, it may help to go to its smallest possible version. So 18 over 24, I know that 6 goes into both of these two, so that's 3 over 4. Now, if I know we're trying to find the equivalent fraction of 3/4, I know it's not going to be 1/4, so I can already eliminate that one. Now, if I'm choosing between these two here, the best thing to do is to choose to try and compare to this smaller fraction. So we say from going from a 4 to a 12, we've been multiplying by 3, and 3 times 3 gives 9, so that is our fraction. And 7 over 49, I know that 7 goes into both 7 and 49, so I can reduce this to 1/7, and there we go, we have our answer. So again, you may like to pause the video here if you're trying this at home, and you can see if you can fill in these blanks, and I will do so, and you can check them afterwards. Okay, and there are the solutions to those. So you can check those, make sure you've done them all right.